It's been a very, very interesting week where Mr. President finally issued statements with regards to members of his cabinet who have had to either resign or drop out of the election season, basically. It's come with a lot of reactions, and especially with that of the central bank governor. We do hear that he may have also dropped out. A lot of these things are still very confusing. I say it's probably the most interesting election season we've ever had. We also have former President Goodluck Jonathan, who continues to be in and out of the conversation. All in all, it just shows us that these elections are going to be one for the books. I think for everybody what's most important is that everything ends on a note that's peaceful, and we get through February 2023 on a sound note. Speaking of candidates, someone who's also gotten into the race is the former chairman of the APC and former NLC president, Adams Oshiomhole, former Edo State governor. So they talk about, activism and politics will always be one that will always come out, and we're going to be talking about that on the show today. I have here with me Adetoun Onajobi, who's an activist herself. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
So, first of all, before we get into the activist bits, I mean, this election cycle is, like I said, is pretty, I don't know, dramatic. I feel like there's something new every day. I was at an award ceremony yesterday, and there was a category for best drama. I said, maybe Nigerian politics should be winning it at this time. What are your thoughts on what's going on so far?
So basically, it's just like it's a new dimension, and the interest is becoming more interesting and unbelievable. Like, people who we don't even think will be eyeing that seat are now coming out to say they're going there. Obviously, this just shows that everybody thinks that change is going to have to start from the top, and everybody wants to get there to be able to share their own quota of energy into the system. So let's watch. It's still too early.
Yeah.
More coming. So let's wait and watch.
Let's talk about, I mean, we live at a time now where I say activists are endangered species, because everybody who's seen as an activist now, especially with our history in this country, is almost always second-guessed. What are your real intentions? Are you doing this for personal gain? Are you trying to really fight for the people? What got you into this? Was this an organic sort of move into activism? Was this something you intentionally, went through because of how you felt about our situation in the country?
Okay, so basically, when you say activism, what does it basically mean? Yeah. It's like an agitation for what is supposed to be, what is right. And over the years, we've realized that the way the Nigerian politics goes is like once a party takes over, the other party just sleeps, and they are supposed to be, like tailing the government and then being on their neck.
Opposition.
Yeah. So the opposition doesn't even exist. That word doesn't even exist. So it's like, I'm a citizen of Nigeria. I know what my rights are. I know what I gave to the government. They tell us to come out to vote. So after the election, nothing happens. So we have to come out to speak. So in the course of speaking, it is either we say it aggressively, we say it to catch their attention, we say it either ways that they have to get it. And activism is just one of the fastest ways to get the government's attention to do what they're supposed to do. So for me, the whole spirit woke up when I had a baby girl. Like, all my kids are boys. And I'm like, does this seem like this environment is safe for my child? Does this seem like this environment is safe for all our children, basically? And it's like, it's becoming a norm. And then the time has come where we just have to continue to agitate for what is right and let the government do it, because we have to create a better environment. If you're not a mother or you're not a parent, sometimes you don't understand how sensitive it is raising a child in an environment that is not safe, or there's no certainty for your children. So when you become a parent, particularly having a female child with everything that is going on, you just have to look for a way to get what is right for your child and for our children generally.
So when did this start for you?
I think it was during the NSAS. The whole agitation started during the NSAS, when I just felt like this thing is becoming like a scam, because all that time there was lockdown, and then I had this emergency in my ammonia plant, in my gas plant, and then I had to just leave the house. And leaving the house, I saw that we're on lockdown and everybody is at home, and basically the activities out there is just like there's nothing going on, So the government was still doing their own thing normally, and then we are just here, and I basically saw some police officers using government vehicles, to move passengers, and they were making money. And I'm like, excuse me, what's going on here? You told us there's lockdown. We are at home doing nothing, not earning anything. And you people are here, And that time I was pregnant of my daughter. And then I had to accost the police officer. He cocked his gun like, well, I'm like, shoot how? I took it off him, and, everything blew up. all over social media. And that was when everybody started saying, oh, okay, so this woman is really, really an activist. And then during the NSAS, my daughter was the same child that was raised up, everywhere. And that rose a lot of national awareness, so it became like an international concern for me. Like, we still understand that you always talk like you always talk. Now that you're even coming on the street and you're coming with a 3-month-old baby, this is something that is different. So everything just started about, the NSAS and then the lockdown period.
Yeah. Were you ever interested in politics? Were you ever a political party member? What was life like before, like you said, the gun incident happened?
I'm not a politician, and I'm never interested in politics. But at one point, I've had to support, people who have your own vision. Like, you feel, oh, if this person wins, this person can also be able to feel your pain and do what is supposed to be done. And I think that was during Jimmy Agbaje. I was all out like, this guy is a pharmacist, and then, our health system is down, the children are down in hospitals and all that. If this man wins, the health sector can begin to, have a better face value and all of that. And that's the only time I've ever supported any candidate. But politics, no, yeah. I've never been.
So, but a video went viral recently where, because for a lot of people, activism is activism. You're fighting for the people, regardless of who's in power, right? If you feel passionate about a cause, you're trying to, make sure the government does their part. Especially like you said, if they campaign and make promises, it's their time to deliver on those promises. The government the party in government now is the APC. The party in government, when the NSAS happened, which you were very actively protesting against, is the APC. And we saw a video recently where you were endorsing the APC. And it got people wondering, which is why I talk about skepticism with activism. What happened? How did you get there? Did you have a change of mind? Not saying that you don't have a right to, but did you have a change of mind, and what informed that video that we saw?
Okay, so basically, if you look at that video closely and you look at the way I agitate and the way I attack the government, a lot of people say, just Adetoun, you're too rude. These people are old enough to be your father. And I'm like, come, these are the same people we write petitions to. These are the same people we write letters to. These are the same people we speak out to. We cry on their neck. I remember during the lockdown when they were breaking into homes and then raping children and all that. I don't know if you remember. I was on the national TV crying like, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, do something. People know, you don't get their attention when you come like you're a normal human being, because they feel like these people, they don't have a right to come and challenge us, to come and tell us this is what they want. So I became a little bit more aggressive, and people say, you're insulting the governor and all that. And that has been my pattern, and that pattern has put my life at a huge risk and my family life at a huge risk. So, it's like my husband is from Lagos. I am not a Lagosian. My husband worked with the government closely, and I'm like in the middle. All the royal fathers, whatever, I'm like my father-in-laws, and I'm like, I'm against their government, So when I get home, the pressure be like, talk to your wife now, what does she want and all that, Let's offer her this. Like, I would never bulge. So I said, okay, let's go another route. So I did a video, I said, Jagaban is a scam. According to, let it not be me alone. Let it not be my opinion alone. According to our opinion, this man is a scam. His name is a scam. His education is scam. His income is scam. Nigeria itself is a scam. I had to first break down because sometimes when you're looking for solution, you have to first break down the problems. So I had to first break all that down and said, okay, are we giving the country to this man who we feel is a scam? He suits the country. No. Everybody, go get your PVC. But the way social media is. People will not even patiently look at it all. And then the next thing I saw was, they've given just Adetoun 100 million. She has bored. She's endorsing. I would never endorse Tinubu. I'm saying it loud and clear. He's my father. My husband worked for him closely. He's like my father-in-law. He owns Lagos State because this Lagos State practically belongs to one person. I call him my father, and he remains my father, but I would never support his political ambition. I would never do that.
Why?
Because I feel you lay the lives of people down for your own personal career. If you say you deserve to be the president, why didn't you come in at the right time? You used the whole nation to play a game. You used us to play chess. You waited and you're matching and patching and patching. Okay, you brought Buhari. Immediately after Buhari, I'm coming. No, it doesn't work like that. You don't know Buhari's mind. You don't know what his intentions were. And during the NSAS, when we, the youth, came out, When we wanted a better Nigeria, when we wanted our voice to be heard, you blanked out. You left us. Jagaban acted like he wasn't in existence. Whether they were using, he was sick and all that. And at that time, I kept on talking, and all the messages I get, Baba said he's sick and you are insulting. You are sick does not mean you can't lend your support to the people.
I'm just trying to get something clear here, because I don't want to make this about a person in particular. Because
it was all about him, basically. It wasn't even about the party.
Yeah, the issue here for me is basically, you know, when the lines are blurred between activism and politics. I don't know whatever your personal issues are with him, but I'm just trying to understand, you know, the video, how do thousands of people misinterpret a video?
That's the
because
thing.
you lost over, I think, 10,000 followers.
No, 12.
Oh, about 12,000 followers.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
There must have been something.
Because when I came, the way I relayed the message sarcastically, people didn't get it. They just thought, Tonda will come and say, you this governor, your head is this. And today she's coming to say, let's endorse. A lot of people got it. I have 312,000 followers, and I lost 12,000. So it was like I lost the crowd, and the same people who understood me and still understand what I stand for still stayed back. And that's just the social media. Facebook, I didn't have that. I didn't lose one follower on Facebook. So everybody just thought, this same tone that is always talking about Jagaban and his team and APC government and this dispensation like this, how come she's making a U-turn? They've paid her. No, I'm still me. I would never forget the wounds that we incurred during the NSAS. I would never forget how bad this country has been and is still at this point. And the point is, I will never jeopardize my family interest or personal interest for a national interest. So at this point, my stand is still, I would never endorse Jagaban to go for presidency. Other people can. I can decide to take my candidate tomorrow. But because I know how he has been in the journey of politics, I don't think I would want to. So a lot of people got it all wrong, like, oh, she's made a U-turn, all this activism.
Do you think it's wrong for you to get involved in politics?
It's not wrong for me to get in politics. It's my right to get into politics. But
after being an activist?
No, I have a right to.
Whilst being an activist?
I have a right, but I think the problem with Nigerians is people feel because you're an activist, you should tell them what to do. No. We have no right to choose a candidate for you. Our right is to agitate for what is right. Because everything about all the comments on social media was like, is you, we have been waiting for you to come and tell us who to vote for. No. I will pick my candidate. I will choose a candidate when the right time comes. But that doesn't stop me, you know, from saying that this is my candidate because I am an activist. No, I'm not going to do that. It's my right. I have to vote. If I have been craving for people to get their PVC, I also have my PVC. So we're going to peg a candidate down.
Where does activism stop and politics start? Because we've seen so many people. I've been on this show for over 9 years now, going on 10. So I've had a lot of people on this show over the years who I know are now in governments at different levels, you know. And, you know, a lot of them sounded like you. I'm not accusing you of anything, but a lot of them sounded like this back in the day. You know, very passionate, fighting. And 2-3 years later, we realized, oh, okay. This is where this was leading up to. So where does the line get dropped?
You know where it changes, like you said, is the risk involved, is the lives online. It gets to a point, and I have also gotten to that point, like when you keep agitating, they come to you. They want to know, okay, is she like, okay, this person wants to come into politics, and if you have that intention, you will budge. I can say it loud and clear that I've gotten 3 offers to run for vice presidency in this same incoming election, and I've said no. So there's always a point, there's always like that peak point where your life, they start to threaten you, they start to say you're not supposed to say this, you said this, and they offer you. And I have gotten all those offers longest time ago. So this is not the right time for me or the wrong time, or this is not even the time for me. I have stated it clearly. I am never going to go into politics. Whatever offers they've brought, I've always turned it down. You know, I woke up in my room in Dubai the other time, some few months ago, and I met politicians at my doorstep. I don't know how they got to know I was in Dubai. Same thing in the UK. So activists go that route. But for me, it's a no. I don't have intentions. Because you know why? Whatever you can do in politics, you can do it outside politics. Because once you get into politics, the thing is, you cannot beat them, you have to join them. You have to do it the way they do. It's a cabal, it's a system,
but
it's an institution.
True, like everybody says you can't change from the outside. There's a reason why that saying continues to go on. You have to come in, infiltrate the system and change it from the inside.
I don't think so. I've always told politicians who came to meet me like, join us, you make change. I said, I would rather make change from my space. I would rather make change from this space. I have created a space for myself, and it's to continue to say what is right. About 3 weeks ago, I was coming into the country. I saw the air conditioner at the airport was not working. I came out, I started screaming. I came in yesterday back into the country. The AC is working. Do I have to get into politics to make change? You don't have to get into politics to make change. It's a cabal. If you get there, too many things are happening.
But we live in a country where I don't think we've ever had a dearth of activists in our history. We've had the military for years. So we have activism in our blood because we've constantly had to fight government. Everybody will tell you that things are getting worse every day. So is activism really changing anything?
It is. It is. Trust me. It is. And I'm going to say this. One voice, 1 million votes might not make change, but one voice will make change. 5 voices will make huge change. And every voice is the only thing we have. That's the only inheritance we have. All our national treasures are gone. The only thing you and I have is our voice to make change. So the voice makes changes. For me, maybe the way I've been doing it, everything that I've said has been corrected. Everything that I've said has been corrected. Every complaint I make, they always come say, okay, come. On the International Women's Day, they had to bundle me into the National Assembly and said, okay, come.
Let me give you an example. Sorry, very sorry to cut you off, because you talked about everything you said have been corrected. We all protested NSARS. You were very active with that. SARS was scrapped, right? SWAT is there. The stories about SWAT now are equally as deadly as SARS was. So what has changed?
Now, for the NSARS, I'm going to say this. The change was so close. But how strong are we as agitators? Because the time when we should come to the round table, everybody backed out. Everybody ran away because nobody wants to be held down. Some people say, my child, don't go, this. But they're calling us for, okay, you see, let me tell you something about change. Change, the voice of agitation has to be consistent. It's not that there's an event, everybody comes out and starts shouting and start doing this. If we were persistent, we would have gotten it. If we sit down at their doorstep, but did we do that? We didn't do that.
People were shot.
One person will die. I'm never scared to die as an agitator.
But not everybody can afford to want to die.
Then that means we're not ready for the change. That means we're contented with the way our country is.
So how do you change that? Whether you like it or not, and it's not just a Nigerian thing. Around the world is the reason why protests, when they get deadly, get stopped. We've seen it in Hong Kong. We've seen it in places, even in the United States. Once people see guns, it's natural human instinct. So how do you tell the average Nigerian to... You said, you have to sustain the protest or your campaigns or whatever. How do you get people to do that?
The way to get people to achieve what we want is we have to keep changing the dimensions of agitation. At a point, we all gathered at the NSAS ground. Do you understand? Your people were killed and everybody left. That still doesn't stop us from talking from our own space. But some people tell you, they're going to block my page, they're going to come and... Let me tell you something about politics today. You see these people called politicians, they are scared of we citizens. And we citizens are scared of them. That's the problem. A lot of people have not been able to identify that the politicians are scared of us. I remember during the NSAS, the only thing that was making Buhari panic is like, these people are taking over my system. And he was at a huge unrest. He was scared. He was worried. And look at us. Common military came, pa, pa, pa. They shot, everybody ran
home.
It's not
very common, but...
It's not very common.
You said common military. I don't know if they're common.
They are common military. I didn't say anything special about them because that has been the same pattern they use. They don't have any new strategies for us.
I think we have about 20 seconds to go because we have, I want to say, 10, 11 months, about 10, 9 months to the elections next year. What's the place of activism or activists in the election season? What can we, as we're all supposed to be activists, right? What can we do?
For this time, I think what we need to do now is for us to all have a common interest and a common mind. Because if you look at the Nigerian youth, we are divided. Our concentration is totally divided. And I've been hearing a lot of politicians, like really and truly, they know how to win elections. So now, I think this is the right time where everybody should feel this, our same generation, where we call the Sorosoke generation, all of us should come together. Let me tell you something, Ebuka. Mechanics know where they meet. Engine oil sellers know where they meet. Pepper sellers know where they meet. All of these people, you and I, where do we meet to discuss national issues? We don't have.
So finally, no, I mean, you have realized that your words have power. Are you going to change how you deliver your message? Because sarcasm obviously doesn't work.
No, that was the
on
first. That
sensitive
was the
issues
first
like that?
sarcastic.
So have you learned from that?
And
you realize
yes.
how it was misconstrued?
Yes, I've learned that, and obviously, whether they like it or not, I'm just going to go back to my old style. Let's keep dragging each other. We're going to keep dragging each other because basically that works for me. So this sarcasm, people don't want it at all. And you know the truth about it, it helped me. You know why it helped me? This same pressure that is coming from the family side and the outside social media side, they were able to identify that, okay, truly this is the situation of this candidate.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll keep watching you, watching this space. Like I said, election season is hot and every day is a new one. Hopefully we get through it peacefully. Thanks for being here.